grounds that our volunteers use on a continual basis. One thing I will make note that I believe there's 2, possibly 3 departments that are up requesting for new apparatus, which will be for budgeting purposes. Sometime we're going to have to look at for 2015. And I'll continue to work with the fire companies on that as well. Human Resource Services, pretty much, holding its own. Ice rink, you will see another reduction in expenses. I'll bring that up. The stadium is the 3rd full-time position that'll be out of the budget. We had an employee who retired just in October. That full-time employee will not be replaced. We will replace them with what I refer to as per diem or minor part-time personnel. So therefore, we're saving on health care and other full-time benefits that would reflect back to the operating budget. So that's another savings. Maintenance is down, and on equipment maintenance is down, and vehicle maintenance is down. Our equipment maintenance is down, and building maintenance is down in the stadium significantly because we've made some multiple improvements. We've invested well over $1.5 million to the stadium over the last 2 years of replacing the ice rink, as well as some of the refrigerant equipment. We still have some other minor things to do at the stadium, but that will reflect the reduction in the building maintenance. The vehicle maintenance will be down. We just purchased them a new Zamboni that just came in about, I believe, 2 months ago, and I think that cost Amy was $90,000. Okay, information technology, IT. Salaries and healthcare are the biggest increase for the small increase that it is, and we have a slight increase in computers and software for software upgrades that the township needs to do its normal day-to-day operations. Some of the things that we're trying to do is we're already started in some departments where we'll be able to pay via credit card and to pay online, and obviously we need the right computer equipment to do that, and try to be more customer friendly to our residents. Management, administration. Again, there's a very slight increase for contractual basis for salaries. Again, healthcare and other premiums all reflect every department. And you'll see that I budgeted some decrease in legal expenses. So there's not a tremendous impact to management's budget.
The legal, is that billboard, or is that?
Well, there's a number. Billboard is not going to go away, so we still have. Well, you're still paying, obviously legal fees for just day-to-day operations.
Right, but is that included in here?
But that is included.
Another part of the
no,
budget?
it's included there.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll see that we have in legal. Legal expenses $60,000 and professional fees, special cases $165,000. So those two combined. So it is down from.
Special cases. Okay.
I'm sorry, 65 and 130.
130, yeah.
So 130. So it's roughly 35,000 less. We're trying to get a handle on some of those cases. Police department. The police department is up. You'll see 7%. The biggest part of that, again, is to do with contractual salaries, as well as the insurance, general liability. We actually have been doing very little in the last 2 years in replacing vehicles, and we're starting to feel it now. So we put the number of vehicles that we always budgeted, which is 6. Problem is with vehicles now, and it's not just for Haverford Township, it's every police department in the entire area. They don't make Crown Vics anymore. our fleet was pretty much all Crown Vics. So therefore, every time we buy a vehicle, we have to outfit that vehicle with new prisoner cages, as well as equipment to house their computer terminals and so on and so forth. So you'll see an increase there.
But that won't be year over year. Once they're in, then we'll switch them out to the.
Well, once we get that fleet in, we've been moving into the smaller Ford Explorer, which not only is it it's too early to put the definite thumbs up on the vehicles, but so far, speaking with and the chief can chime in if he feels the need, speaking with Radnor, Marple Township, Upper Darby, Lower Merion. I spoke intensively with Officer McCormick, who runs that over at Lower Merion. So far, including our own officers, they're very happy with the Ford Explorer. I like it as well because, especially although we've had two very minor, mild winters, it's nice to have that vehicle where we don't have to worry about, we get a little bit of snow on the ground, we got to run to get changed. Having an all-wheel drive vehicle makes it safer for everyone, and the officers are staying on the street, so it's a smart way to do it.
How are they gas-wise compared to the Vic, Crown Vic?
I think they're a little bit better. Again, it's too early to be. The engines are not obviously as big as the Crown Vics, so we are doing better with fuel consumption. I would,
all-wheel
yeah,
drive, so
but they are better. It's a smaller vehicle, so it's going to do a better job, and the newer vehicles are more fuel, better fuel economy as well.
They're V6s. They're not.
And they're V6s, correct.
Okay.
Park and recreations. You'll see Park and Recreations is up. And again, that would, for the most part, would have a reflection on two particular positions. We have two employees that were hurt a number of years ago, and I stand corrected. That's under park maintenance. The Park and Recreations is up just for operational. I believe as the impact of the rec center, to correct, up at the associated costs for maintaining the building, so on and so forth. Park maintenance. This is what I want to say. Park maintenance is up, but it's not up that much, but it is up. It would be down if it were not for, we had two employees that are literally going on 2 years now that we're carrying them on the books for workman's comp that were seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident while at work. It was not their fault. It was a vehicle that struck them head on, a vehicle that went onto the other side of the road. Unfortunately, it's just that we're still carrying them on the books. We're working with the insurance providers to try to get that tackled before the first of the year. But unfortunately, I have to continue to budget for it until that's addressed.
Mr. Gentili, does our workers' comp carrier go after responsible parties and subrogation actions for that?
That accident, they had minimum coverage of 15,000, so there was no subrogation. Nothing available. There was nothing available. No, I've. With that,
Thank you.
There's nothing. But normally they do.
Okay.
Okay. Building maintenance for our township buildings. You'll see that utilities are down. That's mostly because of some green initiatives that we've been trying to put into effect, as well as we budgeted less for building maintenance this year because we did a lot of, I would say, minor maintenance programs this year. New air conditioning units at the police department because they were breaking, so we feel confident that they'll get through 2014, as well as this particular building here, the municipal building. We put probably $20,000 worth of air conditioning units in because they broke, as well as although it's not under this township building, it's under the library, but we put and that would be under auxiliary services, but we recently just put $13,000 into emergency electrical work at the library. We have some more building initiatives to do there as well. But there's a slight decrease in building maintenance. Highway. Where did I find it?
Toward the back, on the right.
Our highway department, you'll see it's up, not much, it's slightly, 210,000. Mostly is, again, slight increase in salaries and wages to the normal increase in their salaries, healthcare premiums, and there's 156,579 under major equipment. And the major equipment would be the backhoe that we've been putting off for 2 years. And that's a piece of equipment that's used by our sewer department on a daily basis. It's every time that unit goes out, we need to bring 5 to 6 gallons of hydraulic fuel with us, because every time they use it, that's how much they have to put in there. It's well over 20 years it needs to be replaced. We'll be replacing one Ford F-350 pickup truck with a plow. And we're trying something new this year. Mr. Doherty's tried it one time before and it was successful, so we're going to stick with it. And that is, we have 2 trucks that we're going to keep the dump bodies of the truck, and just replace the chassis. So that will save significant dollars. So that's where the increase in roughly 190,000, 156,000 of that is new equipment. Snow removal. Snow removal is down. This will be, I believe, the second year it's down a little bit. As you remember, we implemented one of the programs that I'm very proud of. And myself and Haverford Township joined hands, and we purchased with revenues that we received from our composting program. We reinvested those revenues. And we are the only 2 communities in Delaware County that do brine. Therefore, we save on a couple different areas. We reduce our salt utilization by 35%. So therefore, you'll see the reduction in snow materials. And we're also reducing in overtime. And how the brine program helps in reducing the overtime, we know by doing the brine, if we know that there's a storm approaching, we can begin brining the roads at least 24 hours before the storm approaches. Before the brine program, our staff would have to be called in. As soon as the snowflakes would start, we'd be able to do it. So therefore is overtime. Once the snow started to accumulate, then they would start putting the materials down. So obviously you have an increase in overtime and you have an increase in use of materials. So it's been an extremely successful program. I'm extremely proud of that program, and we continue to be set the standard in the area. And I also have to say thank you to PennDOT for all the assistance that they've given us over the last 2 years and helped us do a lot of research, making sure we do a phenomenal job there. They've been instrumental. Street lighting is another program that I'm extremely proud of. So our street lighting has been down over a number of years, so I want to go over some numbers. 2007, when I came here, 2007 street light maintenance, just the maintenance for the street light was $268,000 a year. It's dropped consistently. 2008 down to 148,000, and from 2009 to pretty much 2013, it stayed anywhere from 60 to 50, back to $65,000 a year. So it's been a great successful program by doing the street lights in-house, as well as I also want to send some congratulations and thanks to Mr. Pannoni, Mr. Faulkner, and Lori. One of the things that we did a couple of years ago is we started a street light reduction program where we started to look at the areas and eliminate some unnecessary street lights without causing a public safety issue, and that's been instrumental in keeping some of our utility costs down as well. It's been a great program. Sanitation. Sanitation again, look, every other department's up slightly. We have some salary increases in personnel. Vehicle maintenance is slightly up. And you will see, just like every year, we budget $160,000 for a new trash truck. We have 15 trash trucks on the road. We replace one every year, but that's pretty much a wash, that $160,000. Give or take, we get our grant monies from doing the recycling program, and the numbers that we get, we usually get enough money back to pay for that trash truck, so that's pretty much would reflect in the revenues. And I believe I did park maintenance already.
Did-
So this picture here, this slide here would show, again, and there's no change. This, our police department consistently, because of the makeup of our community, our public safety is the largest component of our operations here in the township. And the Public Works Department, from highway, if you add up the highway to sanitation, they're a big component of it as well. If you would add those next two bars together, as well as park recreation and park maintenance, you add them. So this is just a nice little graph to kind of show from departmental budget purposes. This is what runs our budget every year, unfortunately, and as much of the things that I've tried to tackle over the years, and with the assistance of the greatest finance director, and is one of the only reasons why I sleep at night, we've made some significant changes. But these are the things that are driving our budget. And you've heard me say in the beginning that we literally, in the last few years, we've eliminated 17 full-time positions. I said last year that there was no more positions to eliminate. But when you sit down and you start looking at the stresses that this township is facing, we came up with opportunities to reduce a couple more positions without having an enormous impact on our service delivery. So if you look at our uniform wages, because of contractual, you're seeing an increase in $342,000. Our non-uniform is only up $89,000. As I mentioned, we eliminated or cut out of the budget paramedic position, a mechanics position, that's one in Public Works. We eliminated a stadium position and a health inspector. So that's $400,000. So that figure right there, even though it's an $89,000, it would have been $489,000, or possibly even more. Here's the impact. Again, medical benefits. We budgeted this year because of the effects of healthcare reform, an 8%. The bad news is I'm being told over the weekend to expect an increase of possibly 9 to 10%. But myself and Amy will do our due diligence to try to find the savings in other areas. But there's a potential from now until the second reading, I may have to come back to you and tell you that we're going to have to do a slightly more increase. 6% of this number is a direct impact, what I'm being told, and I'm being told this by every avenue, that has to do with the taxes that the insurance companies have to pay now for healthcare reform. It's just the cost of doing business. But that's the impact there. Our MMO, municipal pension obligation,